Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning into World of Podcasts Saturday Night Showdown. This week we have a returning, champion from 2 weeks ago as he was able to beat Zen Style. We have Willie, Dills, Gregory, and he'll be facing Homebrewed from Mana Grind. And as always, I have my... I was trying to come up with a good name, but my co-host, Will. What's going on, Will?
Good. Hey, man, I'm doing good. I'm excited for tonight. I felt like last week, a little piece of the weekend was missing, and it's good to be back. It's good to be back with the mic and behind the mic and see a fun game going on. I'm looking forward to see how Homebrewed comes on to tackle Willie Dills. This is going to be good. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes. Dills and Zen had a crazy game last week, or 2 weeks ago, where they just kind of went one win, one win, and we went 5 games. It was great. What's really exciting is this is the first week we have the chance to see the new Naxxramas cards, because, we did get 2 wings, so they could release, so it could be completely different than what we've been seeing over the past, month and a half at this point.
Well, and everything goes out the window at this point because of the new cards that are available. The big question is, have they got cards that have come out just this week with the new wing, or is it something from last week? It's going to be fun to see what they pull out when they start laying down and how they use them.
Mm-hmm. What's also exciting is week after week, we will actually see different cards getting introduced. So it's really going to be exciting next 3 weeks as we're going forward with this, which is really exciting.
I can't wait. Let's let's slow this down. Let's make this happen.
Exactly. So let's go ahead. We're going to get this started with Homebrewed and Willie Dills. I'm going to kind of give them the go-ahead to get started. So what decks are you kind of looking forward to today, in terms of what decks they put out?
I am looking to... I happen to know that Willie Dills is even called his lock the Nax hand lock, and I'm intrigued to see how some of those cards that have come out of Nax are going to appear in the game and how they play. I've played through. I've got the cards. I've yet to take the courage to actually throw them into my hand because I really like the way that a couple of my cards are built. My hands are built. So I've yet to take the leap to actually use any of the cards I've got. So I will be looking forward to seeing how these guys are using these new cards for sure.
Mm-hmm. What I've also kind of excited for is we do have kind of a new overlay for the match once we kind of get into it. We kind of took the criticism from last broadcast and kind of ran with it. A little bit bigger screen. You don't get to see me and Will once I click over, so get a good look now because you're not going to see us until the end of the match.
Soak it in.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up, and we're going to actually get this thing started. So what are your predictions on beginning matches in terms of decks? What do you think we're going to see?
What do I think we're going to see? I think we're going to see, I'm thinking Shaman. We'll see the Shaman, which was very strong from Willie Dills. And I don't know, but maybe I can tell you it's going to be a Warlock is what we're going to see.
It's going to be a Shaman and a Warlock, yes.
Shaman Warlock, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, just so everyone knows, what we're looking at in the main screen is Homebrewed's, view of the game. And up in the left-hand corner, we will see Dills' hand. Now, Dills' hand might be a little bit of a delay because we are pulling off the stream. So if he plays a card still in his hand for a short delay, that is why. Don't be alarmed, folks. It's working as intended.
Yes, and it's nice that we can see the score, we can keep track, we can see exactly what's going down, and I think it's a fairly decent start here. The Shaman is going second, so he's going to obviously get the extra card.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's going to have the coin in hand. I love having the coin personally.
I do too.
I always feel like there's that one time when I really, really, really need 1 mana, and you have the coin and it's there. I don't mind going second. In other collectible card games, I feel the same way too. That you always get the extra card in Magic because you get to draw on your first turn. So.
I know, I agree, and I tend to get frustrated if I end up having sort of 3 or 4 games on the trot where I'm going when I'm going first. I feel this very disadvantaged, and so it's always nice to, I think, go second. So here we go. We're kicking out there. We've got the first Nax card played out. And we've also got on the flip side, we have the Unbound Elemental, which is a card that you want to deal with pretty quick, if possible. And right now, it's just being knifed in the back.
Yeah, the Knife Juggler, great card, especially if you have low mana cost early game, because Dills won't have much to play with it, especially with the Void Walker sitting there to defend him. Nice golden Void Walker. What I really like most about the Unbound Elemental is, anytime that you're playing these cards with the, I'm going to keep saying Overdrive, and I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Oh, the Overload.
Overload.
Yeah.
Anything with Overload on it, normally you're actually losing out in mana the next turn, but with the Unbound Elemental, the Overload's giving you a bonus right away, so it's almost like you're kind of getting a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
So
once that starts to build up, that's when it becomes real powerful. But we can see there with the Abusive Sergeant coming out, that's a quick way of dealing. And this is where you actually interesting. You get to see the strength of that new Nax Spider card. You lose it, you kill it off, but you've immediately got two more tokens on the board.
Yeah, the Haunted Creeper. It's really cool. It's almost like a powered Harvest Golem, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earth Shocking, getting rid of that, the Argent Squire right away, getting rid of it is key. You can't have that thing hanging around. It's just nothing but trouble. This is very, zoo lock at this point, trying to get as much out there and keep it out there as possible. We just mentioned the Harvest Golem, he's out there. You're getting a lot of creatures for your, at this point.
Now, one of the other new cards that have come up with the first wing is the Nerubian Egg, and it's a 2-mana cost. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, it's got 0 attack, it's got 2 health. Once that egg pops, though, you've got a 4/4. It becomes very, very strong. How do you feel about that card? Because I've always enjoyed playing it because I'll just ignore it. I've not had any problems with that. How do you find the Nerubian Egg? Because I know that both do have them in at least one of their hands.
Well, it's one of those things where if you're going to put in your deck, you can't rely on your enemy to trigger it for you. You have to put things in there to trigger it, on yourself. You have to, in a Shaman deck, you have to have Rock Biter Weapon to make it so it can attack. So you can attack with it, get something out of it, and then get the 4/4. Anything that gives it attack will just, automatically make it triggerable. Right. Or giving it Defender is another way, being able to give a Defender, and then they have to attack it.
Right. Yeah. So you force by playing it as a taunt, you're forcing it into a place where it comes into play. And you're right. I think that's where people end up missing out. Now, I love this Void Terror that's been played. I always carry that in my Warlock, and I will punch in the face very quickly with the cards and then use it. So I bolster it up. That's a fun card.
Yes, and Dills is probably playing, I think, one of the best decks to go up against like a Zoolock, as Shaman has a lot of control with the Feral Spirits. You can put out the Lightning Storm. All that is ways of dealing with just large amounts of minions coming after you.
That was our second Hex, I believe we've seen now. So that the Homebrewed can be thinking, okay, nothing now can get hexed, in that respect. And that becomes a positive thought for sure. Yep. But how do you feel where we're standing at that? We've got the deck cleared there for Willie, and he's sitting at about 24 health. And Homebrewed sitting at 23 HP on his hero, but he has got 2 very powerful beasts sitting on the board right now.
Well, with just what he has on the board, he's good. But, Dills he has that hand, hand, I say hand control, but having control of it by having enough cards in your hand is, I think, more important than having just a couple creatures on the board. Because as we can see here, Dills will be able to use Lightning Storm and deal with what's on the board, and he now has the board control as well. So
turns it around.
Hand lead can lead to board control, which is really important. Now the Doom Guard here, he's going to start. I think he's kind of thinking what he wants to attack. I think it would be smart to kind of just go for him. Is what I would do.
Go for the face.
Go for the face, because for Dills to get through to you, he's going to have to go through the the Void Guard first.
Right. So you think as a spin on the old saying, 5 in the face is better than 2 on the board?
Yeah. I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to, take out Thanos and let him draw a card. And I think, really waste that 5 damage when it, for the whole reason it has charge. If you have a charge, if you can, I always go after the player directly.
That would be the way you. That's where you head. Now, so we've actually got the Lothby right there sitting in his hand too. So that's and there's a couple of legendaries. We've got that and the Alakir, the Wind Lord. So he's sitting on a couple of really nice cards to be able to play, and he's in a position to be able to play that on his next turn, which is good. So you can really see a strength to his hand right now, which leads into where do you go from here on Homebrewed side?
Well, obviously you can't see what's in his hand. He's going to be, drawing a card every turn, I think. He's going to be using that, Warlock ability because he's got to get cards in his hand. He doesn't have much to deal with kind of what's out there. You're going to have Alec here on the board at some point in the near future. Shield, taunt, so that it in fact protects your Flame Tongue totem. And that's, I think, key right now, is being able to protect that totem so that way someone has to deal with something first and then get the totem out there. It kind of adds the extra damage throughout the game, really, if you're able to keep them on the board without the enemy going right for him.
And this is where it starts to get. He just cleared the board right off. As he pulled Lakir out there, just cleared that right off. That was that's 2 really powerful board clears in the space of 2 turns.
And really,
very nice.
Alakir pretty much has everything. Has taunt, Wind Fury, charge. I think it's one of the more powerful legendaries in the game because not only is it a defender, but it's a great attacker as well.
Right.
All kind of rolled into one.
That Soulfire, now that's always a pain in the neck, particularly when I again running with my Warlock. I know I have Soulfires in my hand. I try to use them. I always hope not to have them both in your hand at the same time because it's a waste of 4 damage that you get. It's always really painful.
Yep.
It's a tricky situation.
Dills is able to use Alec here to get the victory. That Wind Fury is just nuts, honestly, if you ask me.
Oh, it's brutal.
If you can't take care of someone with Wind Fury, the turn it comes out, you're in trouble. And as we saw there, Dills was able to, take that and get the victory there. Excellent, match. Early game, Homebrew definitely had the advantage in terms of just number of creatures out there. But Dills just kind of hung back, cleared the board when he needed to, took a little damage early, and just kind of, took control of the whole game in general.
And what do you feel now? Where do you think he's going to go? What do you think he's going to take, to try and take on this shaman? Now he's just experienced how powerful that shaman is.
Man, he does Warlock. So now he could try and just, face it head on with another shaman, because we know that. But he also has a druid deck that we could be seeing in the very near future. So I would go, I don't even know.
Did you go like for like? Shaman against shaman?
Yeah, but I mean, kind of because I know what he has. It's you're going like for like, but not with Alakir. You're going with kind of a different legendary setup. With I think he has a Black Knight or Ragnaros in there.
He does, yeah.
So like for like could work. I guess if that really you're depending more on card draw. You're drawing the cards to beat him,
right?
Specifically because it's almost it's a heads up match. But coming in the druid, his druid's a little. I'm trying to think. Is his druid? It's not quite a token druid, but it's
no, and it's his druid has got more of the Nax cards in there. I think I've seen 3.
Haunted Creeper, the Nerubian Web Lord, and he has the Lotheb in there as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I probably. I don't know. At this point, I would be like, and actually, so his shaman actually has 3. He's also running with Thanos in there too. So I don't know. I would probably want to take on like for like. That's where I would go. But having said that, I'm also looking at a hand and saying there is this situation of I haven't run with the Nax card. I have them. I've yet to put them in. So I'm speaking from someone who's cautious about wanting to play play a Nax hand.
Yeah, it does take time to get practice with these cards and making the proper trades and using them at the proper times. You don't want to use them too early. You don't want to use them too late. So I would wait to use them in any type of a head-to-head environment.
And in fact, he's gone. So here we go. He's gone for the Druid, which is good. Mr. Brown is there.
Mr. Brown.
He's named them all colors. So
yes. So last it was purple was the Warlock. Brown is his Druid. Very, I was gonna say insightful naming, to be ironic.
What do you think of this card drawer? So we have a 226 over on Homebrewed. We have a 3232 with a coin over with Willie Dills.
Yeah, well, you have to look at its Wrath. Wrath is good to always have in your hand. Force of Nature, this early in your hand, I don't like it. It just, you're depending on drawing something that you can play. Luckily with the Druid, using your hero power always gives you some defense. That kind of boils over to the next turn and the turn after that, so it's not too bad. I like Wrath's kind of options: more damage or draw a card. So if you really need to draw a card because you don't have anything to play, you can go ahead and go with that. So I think he's got a pretty good hand. I think he's got to be very aggressive and go right after him because give Dills turn 7, 8, 9 and you could be done.
And they're both now stacking up on cards. I mean, this is the thing, is you've got a Totem card out there, and you've just been using hero abilities. We're at turn 3, and we're seeing the first real card about to be played from Willie Dills.
Yes.
And once again, it's the case of getting it out, getting that
the Unbound Elemental.
Unbound Elemental out there, and my goodness me, that's always it's something that Homebrewed deals with immediately, and you just have to, because you have that sitting out for a turn or two, and you're gonna feel the pain.
Yes, you're it's dealing with a swipe. Great card. Deal damage to your enemy. Deal damage to the minions. You're good to go. Good solid. Sometimes it's good to hold off on it. See what else comes out there. But the Unbound Elemental, especially with what we can see, Feral Spirits in his hand, can be dangerous.
And that is, to me, that is one of the most feared cards I have. When someone starts playing the Feral Spirit, I loathe it because it's a twin taunt, but unlike your Mage twin taunt that pops out, this does 2 damage. It's got 3 health. It's a beast of a card. So that's probably one of my most disliked cards to face when I see that play. It feels very cheap. What is it? I think it's 2 mana, and with the Feral Spirit, it's 3 mana, isn't it? And it has a lockdown of 2. So it's a brutal card to have out, and it has to be dealt with quickly, and it is.
Yep, but I mean, he uses both his Wraths to deal 3 damage, so he's not going to get any card draw from that, which could hurt him, long game. Let's see, he's going to deal 2 damage to the the Earth Totem, and then go straight for him. He's just trying to keep that board clear, not give Dills any chance to buff. So good choices, I think, all around. As we can see, Dills was able to draw another Alec here. So that's a little nuts right now. If right now, basically, if he's able to get his Flame Tongue Totems out and keep them alive, he could put an Alec here right in the middle of them.
Yeah, and holy crap, we're also, this is interesting to look at here, like where we are in HP, very close. We're still, near full HP, 27 full HP over on the Druid, and we're on turn 7, 6, 7, which again just shows, these guys are collecting their cards and dealing with trouble on the board. So this is going to make for a very fast end. It's a slow build up here. But it also means that the game could be over very quickly when things start to play, come turn 9, 10. So, which is great. That to me is always thrilling,
Yeah, what's going to be dangerous is we're going to get these Feral Spirits out. Dills can do something which, like, put out the flame tongue totem and buff him up, which, he was able, he just did. And, now he has 3 defenders out there, and that flame tongue is just kind of hanging out waiting,
Yep.
to take care of, whatever else he wants to put on board, like an Alakir.
Yeah.
And, the force of nature comes out. It's going to be able to deal with a little bit of what's out there, especially in combination with this. You're going to see all the board cleared at this point.
Oh, and what a beautiful way to deal with it all. Just push through. I probably would have used the treant to take out the
minion.
The minion,
and then the Keeper of the Grove to... Actually, I would use Keeper of the Grove to clear out
everything.
The flame tongue. Don't leave that flame tongue.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that. I really would have taken out that flame tongue. I just see now. I'm kind of like nervous there. Once again, you can see why. You get lucky with your roulette wheel of the shaman hero power, and he did there. He's now got to face another 2 damage to come out.
Yeah, all of a sudden your taunter can deal damage back.
Yeah,
I mean that's huge. And your Unbound Elemental comes out, and guess what? It's no longer just a simple 2/4.
Do you think that was? Do you think he just accidentally rushed that? Like he was just pushing through and was like, "Oh crap! I should have pulled that last one." And at that point, I'm just going to go for the face. I wonder because I don't think that was a move that he would normally have done otherwise. I personally don't feel that. I don't know. I've not really seen much of Homebrewed stuff, so but I just feel that he probably. Your fingers sometimes working ahead of the brain a little bit there.
Yeah. It's definitely possible. You never know. Maybe that's something we ask him.
Yeah, definitely.
At the end of the show, be like, did you mean to do it? Just kind of his view and what he was thinking at that point.
What would you do right now?
As homebrew?
Yeah. He's obviously weighing up here what he's going to play. Big decisions to make.
I don't know. Do you silence the flame tongue and then it becomes nothing, or do you kill the? See, so he's choosing to kill the, the taunt totem. But do you silence the flame tongue, and then the whole reason you need to kill it with something other than your guy, it's muted. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So you actually force him to keep something on the board that he doesn't want. Is what I would do in those terms. If you can fill their boards up with stuff that they can't use, they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, and it's then that's always a fun thing. It sometimes can be daunting when you start to see the opponent fill up their board, but you get them to max out on really crappy low cards. That can always be entertaining.
Yes, for sure. Another flame tongue coming out here.
Brutal.
I was going to say the Alakir's got to be coming out pretty soon. I can feel it. So. He's going to use his Unbound Elemental. He's going to kill Alakir's other Keeper of the Grove, and then just hit him once with the Alakir. What is he going to do to fix to kind of get back in this game? So he has to kill Alakir. Do you Force of Nature and take him out? That's what I think. And as I say it, he's hovering it.
He's thinking about it, isn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
That really is the only option he's got right now. But it's a tricky place to be in. And he's going to have to take 5 to the face for this. He has no other choice. You think?
Oh, to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or would you have used the tree? Use a tree and see again. He's left the flame tongue totem out. So again, something I wouldn't have done.
Definitely something purposeful at this point.
Yes. Yes.
You don't do that twice. I think in a match. I don't know. It could. His style of play is definitely probably a little different than ours. He's been clearing the board pretty well. We're sitting here now. It's 16-16. So it's anyone's game at this point. Like we said before, the kind of the card advantage. That's what Dills is holding still in this game as well.
And let it be said that I am by no means a great player. I feel like I learn an awful lot by watching these games and working through this and getting to see. And the different playstyles have been great to watch throughout. So I feel like I'm learning something every every week, which is great.
It's interesting. The new card that he has in his hand, the Web Lord, the Nerubian Web Lord, where it actually increases the battle cry. Its ability came right into effect here, as the battle cry for the Argus Defender actually, would cost more because it was a battle cry. Like, I would not have expected that to happen so quickly in this, I call it an expansion, but in this adventure, something like that. The card, you don't even know he has battle cry, and it affects it first chance you get. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Hex, Hex the 5/5 for sure. It's kind of working with the warlord that it was gonna hurt him with Lothab. Luckily, he kind of got rid of it. So
yeah. Now, interesting. I mean, just still looking at it, despite all of this, we're at 10-10. We're both at the same HB for both heroes. So there is no other. You're looking at it. They both got 3 cards in their hand. One board is stacked against the other.
Yep.
But it's just still fascinating to see how they are both really in the game, and it's just how they start to deal with everything from this point.
Yeah, I mean, Homebrewed to win this game, he's got to get rid of what's on the board. Pretty much no questions asked. So I think he goes with Taunt with that, put it into bear form.
Yeah.
Because that's going to, protect him and clear 2 different creatures out in order for him just to get through to him. He's going to want to clear out the web spinner. Or the web spinner, the spider over there, so he can get the 2/1/1s out to deal with something else next turn. Slowly clear stuff out. The only thing he's kind of missing out on is his Lothams is a little bit weaker.
Yeah, and now just looking at the hand drawer there for Dills, we got a silence in effect, which is a tough card. I'm sure he's just doing some math right now. They end up 7 and 3s, 13, 14, 15. 8. He's got some serious damage on the board that he can throw down if he wanted to. He's actually just dealing with it as he goes along. But with the Wind Fury up there, that's he's got it in the bag. Just doing his math.
Yep, just doing the math, clearing it out, and taking game 2 as well. Dills has just got some really strong decks here. It's hard to compete with these decks, honestly. So we're gonna see
Shaman versus Shaman.
Shaman versus Shaman now. Yep, we're gonna see Blue versus Dills.
Mr. Blue.
So let's.
What do you think? What are you thinking? I mean, Willie Dills is obviously feeling very confident about his Shaman right now. I mean, it's been an interesting fight both ways. How would you approach this? If you're Homebrewed, you've just had to face that Shaman twice. What would you be thinking about? Knowing his deck.
Well, I mean, one thing that you have to do is you got to keep the board clear, because that's when he was definitely in the game. Was when the board was cleared. I think if he can keep that going, then he's in a good place. If he runs into the issue where Dills gets the creature lead ahead of him, then he's in trouble.
Right.
Because he just won't be able to kind of handle what's going on. That's pretty much it, I think, in terms of what's going on.
Right. Now, again, we get to a very early play of the Feral Spirit out there because of the coin. The coin token gets played into effect, so that's a good strong start on Homebrewed side off the bat.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to switch the score, and I realized I didn't have a 2-0 score. It's like I didn't think anyone would go up 2-0. I was like, got to make that real quick. So if anyone sees a little error in the stream, that's kind of what happened. Just because I had to quickly make it so wasn't 2-1 or some other kind of random score that isn't correct. But yeah, the Feral Spirits out early for Homebrewed. That's key to him kind of getting ahead early. Dills following right up with it, for a set of Feral Spirits of his own, and bumping his Unbound Elemental. It's we always talked about during Berlan's matches that the Leper Gnome was always out first. Well, now we have the Unbound Elemental is pretty much the new Leper Gnome.
It is the age of the Nax.
Yep.
Now it's interesting again, and just looking at the two hands, we've got and everything is 3 or under on Dills' side, where everything is 3 or over mana cost on Homebrewed's side. Looking at his hands, so it's very different. They're all high cards. Homebrewed is stacked up against right now, in his hand to play with. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't quite take the edge off those Feral Spirits either. That AoE just doesn't quite take him out. So he's still got to face him down. Mm-hmm. And of course, with that Flame Tongue out, that now increases their damage output. And this is a tough match to be. I don't feel like Homebrewed's getting much luck at all on this. I'm looking at his hand, and he's got what he's got in his hand is not a good reflection of what is in his deck. All of his low mana cards are still sitting in his deck right now.
Mm-hmm. And this is a time when card draw just is not for him. He's down 2-0. He really needs a win.
This reminds me of Sean's when Pagan Geep came on, and it was his Druid. I think his second game, his Druid. And he had just some of the worst card drawers I think I've seen in Saturday Night Showdown. It's just tough. Looking at that hand there, it's 3 or over, so it's a tough position to be in.
Yep.
And what do you do?
He's got to start. He's got to put down these Earth Elementals. But Earthshock. Clears up that Earth Elemental problem, and he's able to, go in and just win it. I think that's the fastest we actually saw Dills' Shaman deck work, and that's really, the Feral Spirits coming out very quickly. So, awesome set of matches. Dills that Shaman deck of Dills is really good.
It's brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brutal. So, that's good. We're going to, kind of switch on over. We'll get them into frame. And we'll kind of see their thoughts on the game. Okay, Homebrewed, are you able to hear us yet? I wonder if I told him to unmute himself when he was done with the match. Let me go ahead and kind of message him in Skype so we can talk to him.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
That last match was brutal. You had no luck, my man.
No
luck at all.
No, I did not.
No, you did not. I was talking to my stream to people who were watching in there, and I think you rolled bad on both of those lightning storms. I was surprised that you had the second one, and you killed the least amount of stuff you could have killed both of those times.
But just seeing what was in David's hand, there's a point on it was turn 4 or 5. Every card you had in your hand was 3 or lower. Every card David had in his hand was 3 or higher, and he only had 1 3 in his hand. So it was you're screwed at this point, and then you start playing any kind of Unbound, any kind of overload, and you just continually screwed for the next couple of turns. So. That was rough.
Shaman's a weird class, so this is one of my favorite decks to play, is this Shaman deck that is I just recently tweaked it. So I played it last week against Zen Style, and he had that crazy aggro Shaman, but this Shaman is more about controlling the board, and then Wind Furying to finish you off at some point, with Leroy, Wind Fury, and a Rockbiter weapon. That's 18 points of damage for 7 mana. So it's that's a sick combo. But the thing about it is when you build the Shaman deck, you actually... So I used to have Yetis in there. I cut the Yetis, I cut the only 4-cost cards I have now are the Defender Vargas and the Leroy, because you always overload on turn 3, and then you can't play a 4-drop on turn 4. So when you have all these high-cost cards in your hand with Shaman, you never end up being able to play them because you've overloaded the turn before you can. So basically, what you need to do is stock up on 3s, 2s, and 1s, and overload and still be able to play something the next turn. It's a really tricky mechanic, overload. So
What's with that build? What's your least favorite class to face?
Honestly, I don't like playing the mirror match. I was actually worried when you brought up a Shaman too, because I thought it's going to come down to who draws better. And like Zoo, if I can get. The thing about Shaman is, if you can get the right cards, you can basically beat any class right now. If I get hexes and stuff, I can beat Handlock. If I'm playing Zoolock, if I get Lightning Storms, I can beat them. If I'm playing against Miracle Rogue, if I can get the Dire Wolf Alpha at the right time, I can stop the Leroy. There's a lot of possibility. Now that Lotheb's in the deck, it's insane. So that deck is really finely tuned right now. And what's funny is I was practicing all my other decks today, so concerned that I was gonna have to play these decks. And I can't believe that deck I just got so lucky. I got the perfect draws at the perfect times.
Yeah, we're noticing you were getting a lot of Unbound Elementals, like turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah. You want to have the Unbound and then the Lightning Storm or the Dire Wolf Alpha, I'm calling it the wrong thing.
The Feral Spirits.
The Feral Spirits. I always call it the wrong thing.
I like Dire Wolf Alpha personally.
Dire Wolf Alpha. Yeah, the doggy.
Brutal.
We'll just create a new card, Dire Wolf Spirits.
New card. Yeah, the Dire Dills doggies. That thing. Though that combination, if you can get that out, and actually there was one point, I think maybe the turn that last match turned on was you didn't kill my feral or my you didn't kill my Unbound with your doggies in that one turn, and then I was able to easily kill it with the Rockbiter weapon and my own Feral Spirits the next turn. So I think that might have been the one. Like, if I was going to say that was the one point where I think that game really swung, it was that right there. Because when you can get that out and then follow it up with the overload play, it's so freaking good.
Well, I knew I had both the Lightning Storms. I didn't expect both of them just to fail horribly like they did.
Yeah, that's the good justification for that play of going face there, because you knew if I was going to have to attack a doggy, and then he'd be low health, and you'd be able to finish him off. But yeah, then you rolled a 2 on it, and it's no good.
Yeah, and with Crusher Shaman, which is what I was playing, as soon as I at least get some of my spells, which I never did, and get set up with my taunts, it's a little bit fairly easy to start mowing through some of the minions that you can put out. But it just never came.
Yeah.
Now, Dills or Homebrew, whichever you guys want to answer. So how do you guys think the new Nax cards really affected the games? Because, we saw some new Nax cards getting played. How did they affect your decks in general?
Well, I'll just say this. Zoo is incredible now. Zoo is basically defining the meta at this point on the ladder. I don't know if you guys have played a lot of ladder since the latest wing, but I played a lot today and yesterday, and Zoo is friggin' everywhere. I think I played 7 or 8 Zoo locks in a row the other day, and with the egg and the little spider dudes, they're insane. So it's you kind of have to play decks that do good against them at this point. That's basically unless you're going to join them, you have to play decks that beat them. And so that's, I think, the biggest change. But also, Lotheb was supposed to kill Miracle Rogue, but actually Lotheb has joined Miracle Rogue at this point, and they're using it, and it's pretty sick. You have to time your play of Lotheb, but I think Lotheb now is I'm pretty sure in every single deck that I was going to bring today. Yeah, let's see. It's in the Handlock. It's in the Shaman. And yeah, it's in all the decks I was going to bring today. That card is just so sick. What
do you think, Homebrew? How would any changes that were, to the decks that required Nax that obviously the cards you put in there, but anything that you might not wish you hadn't put in there because wanted to play with the new cards or anything like that?
I kind of wish I had probably brought my new Nax Control Warrior that I was thinking of bringing. I got really unlucky on my Zulok where I didn't even see my eggs at all. And
oh, that's true. Yeah.
I went pretty far into the deck, so and just Shaman's one of those classes where they have decent AoE, and the one he's running in particular has a lot of early game minions that can trade off with Zoo pretty well. And then you have Lightning Storm and then Hex for the bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
And even on that Druid match, it just couldn't catch a break.
Mm-hmm.
You did have though the that insane keeper on the board for like 6 turns or something like that. I thought that keeper was going to be the death of me. I was pretty concerned in that game because I could not seem to get any way to get rid of it. But then one thing that made me feel safe in that Druid game was you had to burn both of your combos just to clear my board. So all the Force of Natures and stuff were gone. So that was another bad break too, that you kind of had to use that in not really the intended method. Which is again another strength of Shaman is things like Feral Spirits, cause Feral Spirit is just a really good card. It screws with everything. You play that. It costs 5 mana overall, but it's worth it's the same amount of stats as Druid of the Claw in taunt form, 2 turns earlier. Which is another reason why innervating out a Druid of the Claw is so good, is because you get it 2 turns earlier. So, but this does it with the overload and not costing 2 cards. It's still 1 card. So I think in that one game you had to wrath both of my dogs, and it's basically I just got 2 for 1 out of it, and that's just it's a kind of a broken card, but it really is one of the reasons why Shaman shines.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well I believe that'll do it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank Homebrew for coming and playing Dills. Congratulations on 2 victories now. We're gonna have to find.
So now I play Garrett, right?
We have to get Garrett. Yeah, you need to let Garrett know that we need to bring him in. If he can make it next week or even the week after, depending on when he can make it.
I will crush him.
There's a 50-50 chance you'll beat him.
50-50 chance, exactly. Yeah.
So I want to remind everyone that Saturday Night Showdown is brought to you by World of Podcasts. We will be going on with World of Podcasts Thursday, November 6, 2014, from 6:30 at night to 11 o'clock at night in the Anaheim Hilton Hotel. We're still looking for more people for our tournament. We're going to call it the King of the Inn tournament. We looking to 16 to 32 players. Please go ahead and email me at geekofrandom@gmail.com to participate. Thanks again, everybody. Will. I'm excited for next week as well. We'll see you then.
Can't wait. Thank you, sir.
Later, guys.